Hello, today we will discuss regarding echocardiography. This is basically an introductory lecture to echocardiography. As we all know that echocardiography is an imaging modality of cardiac structures with the help of the ultrasonic waves, and it is basically an ultrasound of the heart using an echo machine equipped with a range of probes. It is basically of four types, that is M mode or motion mode echocardiography, 2D or two-dimensional echocardiography, color Doppler echocardiography, and TDI, that is tissue Doppler imaging. It uses high-pitched sound waves to produce an image of the heart. The sound waves are sent through a device called a transducer and are reflected of the various structures of the heart, and these echoes are converted into pictures of the heart that can be seen on a video monitor. Basically, the principle is conversion of electrical energy into sound energy and the conversion of sound energy back into the electrical energy, and ultrasound gel is applied to the transducer to allow transmission of the sound waves from the transducer to the skin. The transducer transforms the echo-mechanical energy into an electrical signal which is processed and displayed as an image on the screen. The conversion of the sound to electrical energy is called the piezoelectric effect. The different modalities of the echocardiography are conventional echocardiography, that is two-dimensional echo, and motion mode M mode echo, and the other one is Doppler echocardiography, that is continuous wave Doppler, pulse wave Doppler, and color flow Doppler echocardiography. All modalities follow the same principle of ultrasound, but they differ in how reflected sound waves are collected and analyzed. The two-dimensional echocardiography, this technique is used to see the actual structures and motion of the heart. Ultrasound is transmitted along several scan lines, that is 90 to 120 over a wide arc about 90 degree and many times per second. So the combination of reflected ultrasound signals builds up an image on the display screen, and a 2D echo view appears cone-shaped on the monitor, as we see on the left side of the screen. The M mode echocardiography is basically not a picture of the heart, but rather a diagram that shows how the position of its structure changes during the course of the cardiac cycle. And M mode recordings permits measurements of cardiac dimensions and motion patterns, and it also facilitates analysis of time relationship with other physiological variables such as ECG and heart sound. As we see in diagram on the left side, the purple arrow shows the cardiac dimensions during systole, and the red arrow shows the cardiac dimensions during the diastole in M mode. And the Doppler echocardiography is a method for detecting the direction and velocity of moving blood within the heart. It is of three types. Pulse wave, it is used for low velocity flow, for example in mitral valve flow, and continuation wave is useful for high velocity flow as it happens in aortic valve, that is for example in aortic stenosis. While color flow, different colors are used to designate the direction of blood flow. Red is flow towards and blue is flow away from the transducer, that is the mnemonic is BART, blue is away and red is towards, with turbulent flow shown as a mosaic pattern. The utility of echo, it is helpful to assess chamber size, thickness and function, and also to assess all cardiac valves, to assess hemodynamics, and to diagnose different types of cyanotic and acyanotic congenital heart disease. Now come on to the echocardiographic machines. There are 5 basic components of an ultrasound scanner that are required for generation, display and storage of an ultrasound image. The first one is pulse generator. It applies high amplitude voltage to energize the crystals. The second is transducer. It converts electrical energy to mechanical ultrasound energy and vice versa. And the receiver, which detects and amplifies the beat signal. The display, which displays the ultrasound signals in a variety of modes. And the memory of the machine, which stores the video displays. So come on to most commonly used transthoracic echo. A standard echocardiogram is also known as transthoracic echocardiogram or cardiac ultrasound. the subject is asked to lie in the semi-recumbent position on his or her left side with the head elevated. The left arm is tucked under the head and the right arm lies along the right side of the body. The standard position on the chest wall are used for placement of the transducer are called echo windows. These are basically four. That is most common. The firstly used is left parasternal window, then apical window, supraesternal window, and the subcostal window. Now come on to the most commonly used paraesternal long axis, that is plex view. In this, the transducer position is in left sternal edge in second to fourth intercostal space. The marker of dot directed towards the right shoulder, and most echo studies begins with this views. It sets the stage for subsequent echo views and many structures seen from this view. The main structures seen in this view are, as we can see, this is aorta and this is aortic valve, this is left atria, mitral valve, this is left ventricular cavity, this is left ventricular posterior wall, this is interventricular septum, and this is the right ventricle. Now come on to the paraesternal short axis view. In this view, the transducer position is in left sternal edge second to fourth intercostal space. Marker dot direction points towards left shoulder, that is 90° clockwise from plex view, and by tilting transducer on an axis between the left hip and right shoulder, short axis views are obtained at different levels from the aorta to the LV cavity. For example, this is the short axis view at the aortic level, as we can see here in this diagram. In this diagram, the short axis view at aortic level, we can see clearly the aortic valve, and we can identify all the three cusps of the aortic valve, and we can see the right ventricular outflow tract, tricuspid valve, right atria, left atria, and the main pulmonary artery with pulmonary valve. And this is another short axis view at the aortic level, in which we can clearly visualize the pulmonary valve, main pulmonary artery, right pulmonary artery, and left pulmonary artery. And this is the short axis view at the papillary muscle level, and short axis view at the level of the papillary muscle, showing how the respective LV segments are identified, usually for the purpose of describing abnormal left ventricular ball motion abnormalities, and LV ball thickness can also be assessed in this view. So this is the short axis view at the papillary muscle level, and here we divide the total LV cavity into four parts to recognize the LV ball motion abnormality, and 12 to 3 belongs to anterior segments, and 3 to 6 belongs to lateral segments, 6 to 9 belongs to inferior segments, and 9 to 12 belongs to septal segment. And we can see clearly in this view that which segment is hypokinetic or which segments ball motion abnormalities are affected, and we can describe it is anterior ball hypokinesia, lateral ball hypokinesia, inferior ball hypokinesia, or septal ball hypokinesia in echocardiography. And this is the short axis view at the mitral level. In this view we can see clearly the mitral valve and both the anterolateral and posterior medial and anterolateral commissures, and we can see clearly the calcification on mitral valve in this view. And this is the another diagram on right side, short axis view at mitral valve level. Now come on to the most commonly used, the apical 4-chamber view. In this view, the transducer position is in at the apex of the heart, and marker dot direction point towards the left shoulder. And in apical 4-chamber view, we can clearly visualize all the 4 chambers, that is left atria, left ventricle, right atria, right ventricle, interatrial septum, interventricular septum, the mitral valve between left atria and left ventricle, and tricuspid valve between right atria and right ventricle. And if do slight anti-angulation of the transducer position to the against the chest wall, then LV outflow tract or aortic valve can also be visualized in apical position, and this is termed as apical 5-chamber view. As we can see that clearly all the four chambers, left atria, left ventricle, right atria, right ventricle, and LV outflow tract, that is aorta and aortic valve, can also be visualized, and this is termed as apical 5 chamber view. Now come on to the apical 2 chamber view. In this view, or to make this view, the transducer position should be at the apex of the heart. The marker dot direction points towards left side of the neck, that is 45° anti-clockwise from apical 4 chamber view, and it is good for the assessment of the LV anterior wall and LV inferior wall. And in this 2 chamber view, we can clearly see the left atria, left ventricle, mitral valve, and the inferior wall and anterior wall of the left ventricle. This is the diagram showing the apical 2 chamber view, and different structures clearly visualized in this view. And now come on to the subcostal 4 chamber view. In subcostal 4 chamber view, the transducer position is under the jiffy sternum, and the marker dot position is points towards the left shoulder. The subject lies supine with head slightly low, no pillow, with feet on the bed. The knees are slightly elevated, and better images are obtained with the abdomen relaxed and during inspiration. And interatrial septum, pericardial effusion, and descending abdominal aorta are well visualized in subcostal 4 chamber view. This is a subcostal 4 chamber view in which we can visualize all the 4 chambers, that is left atria, left ventricle, right atria, right ventricle, and we can also see pericardial effusion if present. Like in this diagram, there is no pericardial effusion. If pericardial effusion, then we can visualize against the right atria or right ventricle direction. And the subcostal 4 chamber view can also be used to visualize the inferior vena cava and its variation with the inspiration, whether it is dilated or not, or whether the inspiratory respiratory variation is present in inferior vena cava or not, because loss of respiratory variation in IVC are suggestive of increased pressure in the right side. Now in last, come on to the supraesternal view. In supraesternal view, the transducer position is at supraesternal notch. The marker dot direction points towards left jaw. The subject lies supine with the neck hyperextended. The head is rotated slightly towards the left. The position of the arms or legs and the phase of respiration have no bearing on this echo window. And the arch of aorta is clearly visualized in this view. As we can see, this is echocardiographic picture in a supraesternal view, in which we can clearly visualize the ascending aorta, the arch of the aorta, and the descending aorta. So these are the basic windows and basic things about echocardiography. If you learn this, then you can start echocardiography in a basic mode, and by practice day by day, I am sure you will be master in interpreting and in doing echocardiography. Thanks a lot. Thank you.